Hyper-realistic video games like Geronimo VR and Unrecord are pushing way past the boundaries of what we thought to be possible when it comes to video game graphics. And they also pose a really important question. When is a video game considered to be too realistic? One of the most striking features of these games is their hyper-realistic graphics. Now that Unreal Engine 5 is out, the developers use some kind of magical, advanced technology to create environments that are literally indistinguishable from reality, giving players an experience of immersion like never before. In Unrecord, you play as a police officer and view the game through the lens of a body cam. But as you can see, this game is as hyper-realistic as it gets, dude. And if you're thinking, well, hey, Unrecord isn't a VR game, so it's okay. Well, then let me introduce you to the Universal Unreal Engine VR Injector Mod. This is a mod created by a Redditor called Praydog that lets you convert almost any video game created in Unreal Engine 4 or 5 into a VR game. Which means that when Unrecord releases, I can guarantee that a gamer somewhere is going to figure out how to play it in VR using that mod. And if you don't want to wait that long, there's a VR game coming out pretty soon, hopefully, called Geronimo VR. Now, the graphics in this game aren't as hyper-realistic as Unrecord, but you can play Geronimo in VR the moment you get it. No modding or anything. You play as an operator for the Special Forces and get thrusted right into some extremely realistic and intense combat situations. Definitely keep your eyes peeled for that one, boys. I am honestly pretty damn excited for Geronimo. But even though I'm super excited for these games, I gotta say I am equally as worried. The level of realism in Unrecord is undoubtedly impressive, but it also raises some important moral questions. With the way that we can experience these video games in a virtual reality now, is it okay to kill a hyper-realistic person in VR, even if the experience is so immersive that it essentially feels like reality? Well, I think the answer to that question is that it depends. Despite the potential risks, there are a fuck ton of benefits to hyper-realistic VR games. They offer a very unique opportunity for training in fields like medicine, law enforcement, and the military. Military personnel can 100% utilize these hyper-realistic VR games to simulate very dangerous scenarios and practice exactly what to do in those situations. Similarly, surgeons can use these games to practice complex procedures in a very safe, simulated environment where they will not accidentally kill a patient. I'm sure the applications for these hyper-realistic games could be endless. That was just a couple of examples that I could think of. If you can think of another application for a hyper-realistic VR game, leave it in the comments. I would be interested to see what you guys think of. At the end of the day, hyper-realistic virtual reality games are sort of a black box. A lot like AI. On one hand, they can be extremely beneficial to society. For example, this entire video was written by ChatGPT. But on the other hand, hyper-realistic VR games could pose a significant risk. The potential for desensitization to violence and death is a pretty big concern nowadays. But if used responsibly and in the right context, hyper-realistic VR games offer just a fuck ton of benefits, dude. Ultimately, it's up to us as a society to carefully consider these risks and benefits as we continue to explore the possibilities of hyper-realistic VR games. Anyways, this is the end of the video, my dude. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're having an amazing weekend. I'll thank you to my members. You guys are dope. And I will see you all on the next one. Bye! Always watch your back.